Alright, here we go with a tutorial for InRoute on the iPad. InRoute is only available on iOS. It is currently only downloadable and updatable if you have iOS 13 or newer. My iPad is a old iPad Mini 2. I can't update this software, but I can update it on my iPhone, which is running the latest iOS 13. But there you go. If you're gonna get a new device, you'll be good. If you have an old device that you can't update to 13, you're kind of SOL. But for those that are ready to learn about it, I'm gonna do a quick tutorial here, and we'll go over some of the things that are important to pilot cars. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible while showing you like I said, the important things. So I figured using Texas with some frontage roads would be a good example. And what I'm going to do is just start with my waypoint, my start point over here in Anthony at the line. I'm going to zoom in using my two fingers, tap and hold, and it's going to drop a pin. I'm going to tap on start, and it's going to make your start point. I'm going to go ahead and pinch and zoom back out, and I'm going to go over here to the 20. We're going to go east on 20. I'm going to drop another pin, make it a waypoint. That's going to be our first waypoint after the start point. And then what I'm going to do is let's go into Pecos. We're going to get off here. We're going to take this exit ramp. I'm going to drop a waypoint, tap waypoint, and it's going to default to the last pin. You got pin 1 and then destination pin default. Don't worry about being destination. It's just going to default to the next pin. I'm going to tap the screen. I'm going to tap it again. And then we're going to go over here, and let's say this is a bridge that we need to clear because we're running a high pole or whatever. I'm going to come over to the get on ramp side, drop another pin, being a little laggy. Tapped waypoint. There you go. Pin number 3. Going to come back onto the interstate, tap and hold, tap waypoint, tap the screen again, got waypoint number 4, and we're good to go. Now, so I already tested this, we're going to come down here to Odessa. And in Odessa, we're going to, let's say we have to take a frontage road for a little bit. We're going to drop a pin drop onto the exit. It's going to become number 5. And then, let's see, we'll drop another pin right on the frontage road. And we're going to go down here a little ways because I'm going to show you what happens when you try to get on at this next get on ramp. Well, not the next one, but a couple get on ramps down. Can add the waypoint on the get on. And then we'll add another one. Actually, we're going to make this last pin here at the back on the interstate our destination pin. And we're going to let it populate. So let's see, there we go. We got our route, okay? That's all going to be fine. I just did that for, just to show whatever. I'm going to go in here to Pecos, and we can see that it's going to take us off the off ramp, back onto the get on ramp, and back onto the interstate. Now we're going to keep going down 20. We're going to get off, hit the get off ramp, hit the service road, frontage road, whatever. And now it's actually wanting to take us back onto the interstate with the very next get on ramp. And that's not really what we want. So it's trying to force the route to the next, get off ramp just before our get on and then our destination. So we're going to have to do a couple things here. The easiest way to do this, take this destination pin and make it a waypoint. Tap the screen, it'll become number 8. We're good. Now, this last pin drop, or not the last pin drop, but the pin drop, the waypoint for the get on ramp where we're actually going to be getting on is number 7. So what we're going to go do is go down here, and after the first get on ramp, we are going to drop a pin, mark a waypoint, and then we're going to use this list that comes up. Now, at the top it says insert waypoint before. We're going to go insert before number 7. So now that pin drop is going to become number 7. And let's see. We've got a couple more get on get offs, or at least one more. So we'll come down here to the next get on ramp, and we'll zoom in, drop another waypoint, and because we just dropped before number 7, we're going to go before number 8. So now we've got 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to go back to number 10, tap on that, make it the destination pin again. It's going to recalculate, repopulate. Now let's just go zoom back in and double check everything. So, I'm going to take the get off ramp, get onto the service road, going to go through pin drop number 7. We're going to go past the next get off, get on, pin drop number 8, and then ultimately get back on and get to our destination. Now, this is only, 9 waypoints, but that same concept applies almost anywhere. It doesn't matter if you have, 4, 5, 6 drops, waypoints, turns, whatever you want to call it, or if you've got up to 150. InRoute allows up to 150 waypoints per map that you create. So, that's a lot of turns. If you're doing something that crazy, it's probably either going to be super tall, super heavy, where you're going to do more than that in a day. I like to do my maps on a daily or state-by-state basis, depending on what I'm doing. I run coast to coast, and sometimes if we're running completely across country, I'll do each state as we go, and then I have its own file, and things don't get, it's a little more organized. So as an example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you I'll show you a long one that I've got. Let's do this. Wilmington to Van Nuys in California. I'm going to cancel this real quick. Up here, top right corner, I'm going to tap on the top right corner. It looks like an open book. Sorry, I'm going to back up. I'm going to tap the bottom center of the screen, there's a circle with 3 dots. That brings up a little menu here. I'm going to tap save. Save route is checked. Just above bookmarks where it says Service Road West, I-20 Service Road, I'm going to cancel that and rename it. So I'm going to just rename it InRoute Tutorial. Then we're going to tap save. Alright, so we've got a saved map. If I tap on the bookmarks up here and go all the way down to the bottom, it's going to be the next one. InRoute Tutorials right there. Tap on it, restore. It's already here, but it's going to recalculate everything. In this screen here, when you first bring it up, you can see your mileage, estimated time, stuff like that. If you ever make any edits and want to resave, tap those 3 dots, tap save, and if you don't want to change the name of it at all, just tap save again. It'll come up with overwrite. Since you're making it different, you can either cancel and name it something else, or you can choose to overwrite it, and then you're good to go. I'll just go through a couple other features while I'm thinking about it. Let's see. Over here, the information, you've got your standard view. You've got a hybrid view, which is satellite plus roads, I believe. I typically just use the standard view. It's being a little laggy. This is one of the reasons why I upgraded my phone to an iPhone instead of sticking with the Android. I've got a little bit of redundancy for when this thing is acting up on me. Let's try satellite. Satellite, can I do anything? Let's see, what if I do this? Go home, I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi on. All right, there we go. We got our satellite view. Go back here. Go to our hybrid view. You have an option to hide or show traffic. You've got your settings. We'll bring you into the settings menu. It actually brings you into the settings menu in like the main settings app for iOS. You can see some of the things here. It's saving to iCloud. Navigation night mode is turned on. It'll switch to a dark mode when it becomes night. Locations on while using. I could do Siri search if I wanted to. I've got cellular data turned on. I do have this on a actual data plan. Distance units is in miles. Temp is in Fahrenheit. I'll get to that in a second. Over here, we've got max speed. So in this industry, in the pilot car oversized load industry, we're dealing with loads where we could be moving slower or faster, depending on the weights or the state. If we're only allowed to run 55 in California, which where I am, I kind of leave it that's at 55, and it gives a pretty solid estimate unless we're going super slow. But it will estimate your time to destination based on the mileage and everything like that. Tap back. There's an option here, optimize for avoidances. Optimize routes based on the custom route avoidance settings instead of the fastest route. I've got it turned off. I've never looked at it, never had a problem. I'm going to leave it off. I'm not going to, you know what? I might be able to turn that on. We'll see. I don't know. This first time doing a tutorial for you guys. I'm running through this just off the top of my head. So I'll test that in the future if I need to, I'll edit in the comments whether I leave optimize for avoidances turned on or off. I'll have to test that a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to leave it turned off because it's been off. So anyways, all right. So I think that goes over the menu. Going to go back into our InRoute. I've already purchased this. It is $3.99 monthly, gives you up to 150 waypoints, or the yearly subscription. I'm going to cancel that. Let's see if it brings up the information here. I believe it's $30 a year. Or you could do, only 25 waypoints and it's $15 one-time purchase instead of an annual subscription. If 25 waypoints is all you need, then there you go. I like having more. I routinely do maps that have more than 25 waypoints. So $30 a year is not really a big deal. Go back here, turn it back to standard. I just like using this view. Another option down here in the bottom, there's a little graph deal. Shows elevation, curviness of the road. You've got weather, temperature for the area, humidity, precipitation, and wind speed. Wind speed is can be pretty important for quite a lot of different loads and areas, so that's kind of good to see. Can exit out of that. The 3 lines gives you a listed step breakdown and different mileage and stuff like that. And your mileage between waypoints. We're just going to go ahead and hide that. Oh, show steps, hide steps. We're going to show steps. There we go. Now, you can also do it from the top left. You can see different steps. And there's a couple different options. Optimize waypoint order. Reorder waypoints for fastest route. Don't do that. We don't want that. That defeats the purpose of the custom route. So we go back here. Now, bottom left, if you tap go, it's going to take me to where I currently am.
Continue to route. Recalculating.
Resume to waypoint 1, and it's going to want me to get
Return
over there,
to route when possible.
I can't do. Return to route when possible. Yeah, it's going to want me to do a bunch of crazy stuff.
Skip waypoint 1.
Let's see. If I top right corner, skip point 1.
Return to route when possible.
Still wants me to return to route. All right. Back to the top left, you can tap on the time and mileage, and it'll toggle between, let's see, the orange is your time to the next pin drop, and then I believe the red is your time to the destination. You've also got your speech, where it'll be audible. You got a couple different options there you can play with. And then you can end from there as well. Another thing you can do is if you need to delete a bunch of pin drops for some reason, bottom right hand corner, there's a hand with drawing a line. If you tap on that, you can then tap the screen and draw a big circle around any group of pin drops that you want to delete. Tap the three dots up here, tap remove from map. They're gone. Now, because I've got this saved, I can go up here and just bring it right back up. And there it is. Now, let's see. Like I said, I'm doing this just off the top of my head. Just trying to go over everything as kind of would do it. Or as I'm seeing different options. But what I'm going to do right now is bring up that big, long a route survey that I did. There's actually a video of this entire route also on my channel. No audio or anything like that. A customer is bidding on a job and wanted to know if the route was feasible. Load's going to be over 19 foot tall. I didn't bother putting a pole up. I ran into GoPro video of the entire thing, and anything that was going to be hard, I did a full measurement on. Part of the route we are doing a detour on, but to avoid some 15-foot stuff. So we're going to wait for it to load. If I tap to load from cache, it will load a little bit faster if I've already brought it up on this device. But I'm just going to let it load. If you've got a newer device, iPhone, newer iPad, something that is working a little snappier, it is going to load significantly quicker. So, this particular route, 53 pin drops, waypoints, aside from the start point and the destination pin. This edit does end up on a local freeway for just a little bit. But just to show you some detail here and how I do things. We've got our start pin down in the port of LA. And then going to make our first turn. And I like to drop a waypoint close to the turn, but just after it. And I usually zoom in as far as I can go. I can't zoom in any farther. Now over here, road changes names, so I dropped a pin. Going to go up to the next turn, drop another waypoint. Now over here, we've got a random one. I believe I needed to add that to keep it on track. Got another turn. Gonna make a left turn. Got another waypoint. And this is gonna be the same thing all the way up. Now, sometimes what's good to do is drop a waypoint before the turn at the end of the road, or just before you're going to turn, and then do one after if you need to. You don't always have to do that. It's one of those instances where if you need to force a route, it'll help, but you don't always. That's not a necessity. This is kind of pretty much standard procedure. And then what I showed you in Texas, if you need to add waypoints, there's that. So this route, it's got us going all over the Southland pretty much. If you know the area, great. If not, welcome to SoCal. I mean, as you can see, it's got turns all over the place, roads curve, and this blue line, once we're traveling, it's not gonna deviate. If you get this blue line correct before you start traveling with your load, it is not gonna tell you to do something different unless you go off route. If you are already off route, it'll want to calculate you back to on route. Otherwise, you're good to go. I mean, if you go back, you double check over everything here, and everything is correct, it's going to be right when you go to actually navigate it. So there you go. Now, this isn't the actual destination for this particular project, but there was a couple options that come up after that. So, but there we go. We've got 53 waypoints, a whole bunch of turns, and that's over only 71 miles. So your waypoints can add up. Try doing that with Google Maps, and you're gonna have a hell of a time. You're going to be creating map after map after map, and it's still going to want to navigate you differently unless you have your 10 pin drops super close together. And then for this, I mean, it's going to take you all day just to do your maps. Where a map like this take me maybe an hour to do. Now, a couple other things to think about. InRoute uses Apple Maps as its base maps. For some reason, when you're looking at the map, I'll go ahead and zoom in up here to the 5. It doesn't have exit numbers on the map when you're doing a route. But when you start navigating, it does. It comes up if you're going to take an exit. It does come up that you're going to that exit number, which is great. But if your permit has a get off ramp listed as a number, exit number, then if you to find that the easiest way, go out of InRoute. Well, let's go out of it. We're gonna go into Google Maps. And we'll go to an area that's got an exit number as soon as it comes up. Come on. We'll go back to a similar area. Not the same area exactly, but well, it's pretty damn close. Let's see here. If it will actually populate. Come on. Dead air is not good for a tutorial. Come on, maps. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Maybe. Alright, so if you're familiar with Google Maps at all, exit 159 Apple is going to be the very next exit that it's after. They don't put them right on the exit. They're just a little bit before, but that's the number. So 159 Apple, there's exit number. It's for Roxford Street. You can take that information. You take your view of the map, whatever you got there, go back into InRoute, and we're going to find Roxford. Oh, let's see here. Roxford up here. No. What the heck? Anyways, not super important. You can use it to find your exits. Let me rephrase that. Let me go back here. Go back into Google Maps. We're on the 5. Just before the 210. Got Roxford Street. There's Roxford. So we got Roxford Street there. There's our exit. No exit number. But now we know where to get off, and so yeah, there is a little bit of cross-referencing that you can do. Almost necessary depending on, the permit and how it's worded. But it helps a lot. So yeah, I think I went over everything that I can think of. If you've got any questions, comments, other tips, anything like that, go ahead and throw it in the comments. Share it all over Facebook. Share it to your other, anybody that's not on Facebook but wants to take a look at it. It'll be, shareable from YouTube. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you want me to change anything, try something different, anything like that, let me know. I'll see you guys out on the road.